Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. I'm Scott Carson, your host. Always excited to be here with you today. And we've got kind of a major announcement. We kind of subtly announced it yesterday. Really right at yesterday afternoon as we were working through some ideas and some things. And this last weekend, it all started with this last weekend. And what do I mean by that? Well, this last weekend, we were supposed to have Note Camp 7. It was what the original schedule was to have our online Note Investing Summit take place this weekend. We planned it from back in November. And a month ago, we decided, let's go a different route. Now, the reason for going a different route is for a couple of reasons. One, I just kind of think there's too many Note events out there. And what I mean by that, you have a lot of people springing up to do their version of a Note conference, their version of a distressed asset conference. And I just think there's so many out there now. Everybody's watering down the industry. I mean, you look at it. They got the NoteWorthy Investor Summit is now twice a year. I think when it's one time's too many. Distressed Mortgage Expo, twice a year now. I think that's one too many. I mean, when you have two events that are back-to-back weekends and they're in the same area and they only generate somewhere between 75 and 100 people really at it besides their vendors, that's not doing anybody any good. That doesn't do the investors good. It doesn't do your vendors good because they pay to have a booth there. It doesn't help your investors because you have people that will split their time. And so you water down the market, which is unfortunate. I think Noteworthy Investor Summit, I mean, when it used to be just a true Noteworthy Expo taking place in Vegas, at one point, you had 700, 800 people. It was a really great event. And it just dwindled down, lack of marketing. I mean, we did the East Coast event that we helped Jack Sternberg with that a while back, and we had 245 people attend. Hey, not bad for a first-time event, but it's gone from there. And then you have the Note Expo popping up. I think it's a great networking event for Eddie hosts everywhere with Note School. You'll have a couple hundred people, but even that was down from last year. You have Paper Source convention going on this weekend taking place, or the Note Symposium, I guess is what it's officially called. And that's a great event that Bill McCarroll's had been going on for years now. Great event, probably have 400 plus people at it. It's in Vegas at the Tuscany. That's the only downsides at the Tuscany, but it's a good event. And Bill knows his stuff. He's doing it once a year, and that's great. He does it usually middle of the April. Fine, it's great stuff. But then you start running into the IMN conventions now that want to have some stuff. And you also run into other people wanting to put out events. And I'm just like, ugh. Part of the reason we started doing online events is we wanted to make it easy for people to travel to. And it's kind of funny is people are like, oh, let's put on an event. I'm like, you don't make a lot of money in events. When it comes to a convention, you don't make a lot of money. All right. You got a big overhead. You're paying $84 a gallon, or you're trying to bring sponsors. I mean, it's not the same thing. And if you only have 100 people that show up, that's a tough pill to swallow too, to do everything. And so I think, honestly, the industry needs to shake itself up as a whole a little bit. You're going to have to, yes, everybody can do their own thing. If you want to do it twice a year, do it twice a year. Fine. That's great. But you have to set expectations that you're going to maybe only have 100 people at it. People aren't going to fly all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast twice a year, or vice versa from the West Coast to the East Coast. People are very fickle about the coast that they spend time on. It just is what it is from everything that we see. All right. So this is part of the reason back now, 3 years ago, that we decided to do the online Note Camp. Camp standing for Content, Actions, Marketing, and Profits. That's the 4 pillars of Note Camp: content, actions, marketing, and profits. And it was a big hit, huge hit. Still has been a big hit. We did it twice a year, and we decided, too much watered down. We need to tighten up a little bit. We need to shake some things up. I mean, we averaged over the previous 6, we averaged over 500 people in attendance. Our peak out was 1,100. The second time we did it, it was great. But the thing that comes in, I don't want to put on an event where the same speakers are speaking at the same conferences. There's nothing fresh, and that's what I see happening a lot. It's the same people speaking at the same events, same vendors. So why am I going to pay my $300, $400 to go to an event that I could go to cheaper, or I could just wait around, or I know who's going to be there? I don't need to travel. I'd rather advise, take some advice to stay home or go do something fun. Maybe some people are flying to Vegas for fun, but they're not planning on going to an event. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? So That's the thing. I just think there's so much. And then when you figure out air costs and hotel costs and other things like that, it's a little aggravating when you see all that stuff added up, because I'm like, come on, guys. Let's be sensible here. If you're going to put on an event, do it once a year. Okay, just be smart. Don't be greedy. Be once a year. And that's what we have done too, is we decided about a month and a half ago, actually closer to 2 months now, that we were going to do Note Camp 7. We were going to push it out a little bit and probably just do it once a year. And that's basically what we've done. Okay. We have done it once a year. Just to, hang on here. Guys, let's be sensible here. Trying to see if there's any quotes coming in from people or comments coming from people, because I think a lot of people feel the same thing too. Why do I want to go to a ton of events that say the same people? I don't have it in my budget, are tight, especially when you start looking at the holidays and things like that. Okay. So that's why, like I said, we've decided to push Note Camp out and just reduce it to once a year. Just once a year doing Note Camp. So we also wanted to do a thing that was going to be fresh and shake it up. And this has been something that's kind of, I don't know, had a mind block. Steph and I sit and talk about things, what we want to do in our business, what we want to do for our Note family from those all across the country. We love the online stuff. I think we are the kings of the online events. Bar none, nobody puts on an online event like we do. We just do a really great job. But it also has to be something that's going to invigorate people to come to it. It's going to have to be something that people are going to be working toward, or they're really enjoying and using it. Okay. So we decided that we are going to be making this next Note Camp. We pushed it out a couple months, and we're going to be turning it into something a little bit different. And so there's all these other residential conferences. People talk about residential notes. Nobody is talking about commercial notes. Nobody's talking really about that aspect. You talk about owner financing, you talk about first, second partials, a lot of stuff, but nobody talks about commercial notes. And many people don't know, first couple of years in the note business, that's what I was doing, just commercial notes, buying and selling and trading and rehabbing commercial notes, whether it was apartments or mixed use or strip malls, a variety of different things. We did commercial notes, or I should say I did commercial notes, and our students, a lot of my clients at that point were buying or funding commercial deals. And we kind of got away from that as the markets rebounded. But we're starting to see an uptick. Literally, in the last couple of days, I've had more lists come in from on commercial assets than I've seen in quite a bit, which that tells me something that the banks are looking to move the stuff off their books. Now, some of the stuff's good, some of it's ugly, some of it's downright just pure fertilizer, okay? And what you have to realize is it's just like anything else. You have to work through those. You have to work through those assets. You have to work through those type of deals with due diligence and see if it makes sense. It's gonna be a little bit long-term. So what we decided, like I said, is to turn Note Camp 7 into Note Camp Commercial. And we're excited about this. The dates for Note Camp Commercial, I'll give you a little drum roll, please. Is the last weekend in July 26th, 27th, and 28th. It's just a 3-day event. Note Camp is usually a 4-day event, but we're doing Note Camp Commercial 3 days. And with us doing the first time to do the pure commercial event, we're not going to split it up into 2 Zoom rooms. We're not going to split it up into 2 different meeting rooms. We're going to do one event, make it very easy for people to join in, because one of the great things we're doing is it's not going to be the same old, same old. All right. Now we'll have a couple people on here that have a little bit of crossover on the residential commercial side. Maybe some people you've seen on some of my podcasts or heard some of my podcast episodes in the past. But we got a lot of new people coming on board, and we are really excited about this. I am extremely excited on especially some of the different asset classes that we're going to be talking about. No, we're not going to sit here and hammer apartments to death. I think everybody else is doing that already. Everybody and their dog wants to be a multifamily investor. That's great. That's not saying we won't have somebody on teaching that, because we do. We have my very good friend, Corey Peterson, the big kahuna, joining us to talk about this. And Corey is an amazing individual, down-to-earth guy who I've known for years and just done a great job. So we're excited to have big kahuna, Corey Peterson, joining us on Note Camp Commercial. You're going to love how he teaches. Great guy. Him and Shelly are just great friends of Stephanie and me. We love them. So we're excited to have them on. You're going to enjoy with the big kahuna shares and then some of the due diligence. Because I didn't want to bring on people that were going to be a pitch fest. And let's face it, there's a lot of pitch festers out there. Okay. People that will just do NLP you to death. And we didn't want that. We wanted to stick to the 4 pillars of NoteCamp: content, actions, help you with your marketing or how to find deals, and then also help you make profits with the aspect of things. Okay. So a big, big class that I see a lot of people diving into, especially on the commercial side, is the mobile home parks. So yeah, they're looking at mobile homes on an individual basis, but they want to take it and they're looking for mobile home parks because of what? Home affordability out there. And we are excited, so jacked up, okay? Just absolutely ecstatic at the guy that I reached out to see if they would be on. And lo and behold, yes. They said they would be on here. And I'm so honored to have this guy come speak. Just reached out and said, hey, would you be interested? Here's what we're going to be doing. And they were like totally jacked up. So we are actually bringing on the nation's largest owner and operator of mobile home parks across the country. We're bringing on Frank Rolfe as a speaker to share his insights, to share his education, to share what he loves about mobile homes, and why not? A lot of people are interested in that. So we went to the top, the creme de la creme, and brought in the largest company, the largest guy that's doing this to help really share some great nuggets on this stuff. So we're excited. Frank Rolfe will be speaking at NoteCamp Commercial. That's a big win for us, we believe, out there for those that are interested. So excited really about that. Okay. That's a big thing. I reached out today to a local kind of guy that I admired for many years, visited with him a couple times, but it's been a while. We're excited to have David Buttross from Austin, Texas, come on speaking. And David owns a ton of residential and commercial properties here in Central Texas and around the country. He's a big advocate of using paper and owner financing for his projects and buying distressed debt and stuff like that. So David RSVP'd today with me to speak on NoteCamp Commercial. Yay. I think that's worthy of applause. Yay. For that, David's well known throughout Austin, Texas, and I thought, why not? Let's reach out to him. And he's like, yep, would love to speak at NoteCamp Commercial. So we're excited about that. I've got several asset managers with different banks, special asset managers on their distressed commercial side, double checking to see if they can speak on the event as well too. A couple big guys that I'm pretty ecstatic about that I've been buying from and buying commercial assets from over the last few years. We've got our buddy Yetkin Israel, who used to be the head of special assets commercial for Fifth Third Bank throughout Florida and the southeast part of the country. He's now a CCIM, commercial real estate agent in Florida, but he used to manage that. That's how we actually met. And he has said he's definitely interested in being on. So love to hear the background of kind of the to-dos, the don't-dos, the things like that. We have Sari Zun, who's a local commercial property manager, manages several 100,000 square feet of commercial space here in Austin, Texas. I've known Sari for a few years, knows her stuff. And I think when you're looking at commercial properties, it's all about the management side once you take the property back. So we're excited to have her on talking about the do's, the don'ts, and things to look for when you're diving the commercial side. Just really, really excited at the all-star lineup of people that are coming out. We've got Joel Block, just from Bullseye Capital. Sorry, not Bulletproof. From Bullseye Capital, just RSVP'd with me just a few minutes ago. He's excited to be on speaking. So much he's like, oh, I'm going to be at another event that time, but I will make time to speak to your audience. So we're excited about that. We do have Alex Godofsky reached out to us immediately when he found out what we were doing with Pro Title USA to talk about title and title reviews and things like that, especially in your commercial properties, because it's a whole different ball game than the residential side of things. We've got a couple attorneys, Sean Yesner, buddy of mine used to represent banks on the foreclosure side, and now is on the other side of the ball. So he has reached out to speak on the event too, which we're just ecstatic about. So I would love to put a feeler out there to Note Nation, whether you're on our Facebook group, our YouTube group, or you're listening on the podcast or listening across any of our different radio networks across the country, that if you have bought a deal, bought a note, bought a commercial property by buying the note or getting an owner finance or some sort of creative topic, not just apartments, another commercial property of some sort, I would love for you to reach out to me. I'd love for you to email me at scott@weclosenotes.com and tell me about the deal. Because one of the things that we're going to be doing is we are going to have some panels. We're also going to do some Pecha Kucha things. If you know what Pecha Kucha is, we're going to bring on some investors to share some of the different commercial deals that they've done, some case studies, and walk people through that stuff. And Pecha Kucha is kind of like it's a speed dating meets TEDx. I've spoken at Podfest before 2 years ago in the Pecha Kucha where I had 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get through like 11 slides. Well, we're going to go through some case studies with different investors. If you're a hotel investor, if you're a mixed use, a self-storage, really excited. We'd love to have you on to talk about the deals. I almost forget, women. We've got Aaliyah Ott and Terry Carter coming on. Terry Garner, not Carter. Terry Garner and Aaliyah Ott, friends of mine, previous mastermind students who are run Investors in Action. They're going to be coming on to talk about self-storage facilities and how they use self-storage, how they invest, how they find their deals, provide some great training involved with that. So they verified this morning as well, time frame wise. I've reached out to a very large hotel investment fund, and I have a phone call with them tomorrow about their CEO speaking at Note Camp Commercial. They're really excited about it as well. And so we're pretty stoked about some big people coming in and being on Note Camp Commercial, sharing nuggets, sharing content, sharing actions, sharing marketing and profit generating ideas. If you want to take your note business to the next level, if you want to get out of just the residential and move on to the commercial side of the ball game, it's a different animal. Lucky for me, I had some great people that educated me on the commercial side of stuff beforehand. We're spending a little bit more time on that now. So always still diving into residential stuff. When I made some counters back on some assets we're selling today as well. So, but I would love if you have a topic and would love to share with me what you kind of topics you're looking for in the commercial note side. I'd love for you to reach out. Shoot me a text message, 512-585-3810. Go to our Facebook profile. Go to our YouTube account. Go to Instagram. Somebody today, I got to give a big shout out to Lynn, who messaged me on Instagram last night that he found the podcast, has been listening to it and binging to it, which is awesome. Good stuff. But we know that there is a big gap of education when it comes to the commercial note space, and we're trying to fill that gap for you guys. We're trying to bring on experts, trying to talk about different case studies that we're working through. It's going to be a beautiful thing, of coming in there. We've also reached out to some different finance companies that are specializing in specific commercial debt. One of the big things I would like to do is bring together kind of a platform for people if they got their commercial assets they're getting on their books or off their books, or they've got a listing, to be able to share that off there. So we've got a private Facebook group just for those that are signed up. And I have to tell you, it has been overwhelming to see the amount of people that have signed up already in our first 24 hours of launching this thing. Over 50 people already RSVP'd their seats. They're taking advantage of the extra early bird special of 50% off. Normal ticket price is $6.99 to the Note Camp Commercial. And so people are signing up at the 50% off. All you got to do is go to notecamcommercial.com, Note Camp Commercial. And depending on when you listen to this, that'll either take you directly to the checkout page or directly to the website where you can check out the list of speakers. We are finalizing the website as people are getting their headshots over to us and their bios and things like that, so we can get them uploaded onto our website. But we are excited. I tell you, I'm a little tickled about this because I think we're doing something different in the industry. I think we're taking it to a different place. I think we're evolving. I think we're trying, and this is the biggest thing, trying to prep our Note family, hashtag Note Nation, hashtag Carsonites out there, to really take their business to the new levels, because there's going to be plenty of commercial stuff. There already is plenty of commercial assets out there. that people are looking at, and they just like, I don't know where to look at. So that's the thing, trying to bring some great people together. I think we already have a really great, I mean, heck, right now, that lineup would fill a day or two of just content, but we've got 3 days, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Really looking forward to what people are going to get out of it, and really the great knowledge that we expect our note campers, our camp counselors, as I like to say, our educators, speakers, are be bringing to the table to really kick butt and take names. So it makes me tickled. Like I said, Note Camp commercial, if you go straight to that website, we've got a limited number of early bird seats available. Once we hit that number, the price will go up a little bit. So if you want to take advantage of that and get signed up for the extra early bird tickets at 50% off. Yes, one of the things that we do is we do record, always record our things. Yes, the recordings will be made available almost immediately to those that are part of it. Okay. Yeah, those will be available almost immediately, like we've done in the past before. We're excited about that. What else are we doing that's going to be fun? We have a private Facebook group. There'll be a lot of bonuses. I mean, I know that just about everybody that I've talked to who's coming on, who's has something, some people have some classes, some workshops, they'll be giving some substantial discounts to those, along with also offering up some giveaways, books, classes, cheat sheets, things like that. Laura Blunk says something on here. It's a great idea. I've heard people ask you about doing commercial notes quite a few times. Yeah. You know, and most of those times the people that have asked me that, Laura, I'm like, you need to walk before you run. Okay. Or you need to learn how to crawl before you go to a full sprint. It's a different ballgame in commercial. If you're trying to make money, residential is still going to be the better way to do that immediately, especially if you're trying to leave a job, build up your reserves, build up your money on that, the residential side, because that's a faster way to make money. The commercial side takes longer. It's more due diligence. I think we had a pretty good coaching call Monday night on our Note Night in America for our WC and crew members, where we kind of broke down some assets. We dove into some stuff that we saw. One was a property down in Raymondville, Texas. Another one was a 12 unit apartment complex in a rough area of Chicago. There was a mixed use unit also in Chicago, and some other things. So a storage facility with a truck, kind of a miniature trucking company property in Cleveland we looked at, which is not a bad deal if you live in Cleveland. So I think it's important that people realize and at least have an understanding of what they see. Because look, let's face it, are a lot of people going to end up dropping hundreds of thousands of their own dollar on some commercial assets? Probably not. That's why we're bringing Joel Block on to talk about it. Trying to get Julian Sadati on as well, talking about some of the reggaes and things like that. It's a different ballgame. It's a little bit more. The beautiful thing is you don't necessarily have to have all the pieces in place. If you've got a team, it's better to make something of something versus 100% of nothing. And I see too many times no investors that get something on their books, they have no clue what they're looking at. They don't know what to ask. All right, it's been calling me about a property one time before. It's an office space. I'm like, okay, is it occupied? Is it leased? What's the seller looking for? Do they have rent rolls? And like, I didn't ask any of that. I was like, well, I can't help you till we actually have that information to look at. Because that's the beautiful thing about, honestly, cash flow, capitalization rate. Do you want to buy at a high cap rate? You want to sell at a low cap rate? And with the assets that we're seeing hit the books, or coming off the books, I should say, more so from different banks out there, I think there's a lot of opportunity for those, especially if you're in an area or what's available. If you take a little time to dive into it and work with it, I'll give you a great example. Our buddy Dan Hainford was in town this last Saturday and Sunday for an event. Our buddy Dan from Multifamily Investor Nation, he had a meetup. We were visiting with him, and there was a commercial realtor. I was talking with them. They were picking my brain about the note business, and he was talking about the Houston market and some of the different things he sees. And I was like, oh, well, have you thought about this? And he's like, oh my gosh, no, I've never even thought about that. And I was talking with Dan. He's like, yeah, that's a great idea. I was like, okay, well, let's announce it. So I seek counsel. I don't ask for advice. I seek counsel from people that I admire and respect. And I'm really honored that some of the people that I mentioned to you have said they're good to go. They want to be a part of this. And we want you to be a part of this as well. Well, no matter where you're located, that's the beautiful thing about what we do with our online convention, especially the Note Camp Commercial Convention, NCCC. I guess is what we call it, N to the C cubed. Just because the fact is there's so many different things, so many things going on in the commercial space, and you really need to know what's going on the financing side, on the legal side, because there's some great advantages when it comes to the commercial side, especially if it's occupied and then taking over the mortgage, you have the right to collect rents if you're the bank. I mean, there's some deals that we've taken in that we didn't do any work on, that we just started getting the rents in completely and immediately managed the property. Once we took over receivership, the seller didn't have really any cause to be using that property as an ATM anymore. So one of the things I'm looking for, though, and I mentioned this earlier, and I'll say it again, if you have closed on some commercial deals, not apartment deals, not something where you've closed on where you invested 50 grand as part of a deal, or you invested into a commercial fund, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that are owner operators or people that have taken down commercial assets, don't need apartments. I'm looking for somebody hotel, looking for other people in the self-storage. I'm looking for other people that are doing some other things. Hotel, self-storage, mixed use. What else out there? Industrial, gas stations, restaurants even is something we would love to talk with somebody about, and maybe even have them speak on it and what to look for, and how to kind of self-structure those deals for our Note campers, our people that are attending out there. So if you know somebody, hey, feel free to reach out to them. Give them my information. Once again, Scott at We Close Notes. Love to schedule a phone call, talk with them. We've got some time. Obviously, we are still over 3 months out from the event, but we're already excited because we've got over 50 people that have already signed up for the event. And so we're expecting to see somewhere around 500 plus people be a part of our Note Camp Commercial Conference the first time out the doors. Now, like I said, mentioned before, Note Camp will be once a year. We'll probably go back to a residential one in 2020, and we'll probably just flip-flop. One residential, one commercial. One residential, one commercial, to keep it fresh, less stagnant. Because let's face it, we provide a lot of great content here in the podcast. We bring on a lot of great speakers and vendors and educators and things like that. I think our education is second to none in the industry when it comes to residential side. We've got some cool things out there. I don't think anybody's tapping in the commercial side when it comes to things. I think this is going to be our first foray into it with an event, but we are pretty excited to see what's happening with our audience and the people that come aboard here. So like I said, normal ticket price is $6.99 right now. If you get signed up by going to Note Camp Commercial, or I think even notecamp.live will take you there as well. And you can get an early bird seat at 50 cents on the dollar. Make you holla. All right. But like I said, we are going to have, I would love to hear, like I said, any topics you'd like to discuss. I've reached out to a couple commercial land developers as well on what they're doing, see if they'd be interested in coming on. I'd be willing to bet they'd say yes. I've reached out to DebtX. I've reached out also to for FFN. I've exchanged a few emails back and forth with both of those. We've got some commercial agents, who else have I reached out to? Just about anybody I can think of. Reached out in the last 24 hours to, and was just excited. Everybody's like, yes, we want to be a part of it. So if you're watching this, like I said, we're watching this live, or watching this on the replay on YouTube channels, or you're listening to this on our podcast, or you're listening to this across any of our 16, 17 radio channels from Jacksonville to Tampa to Macon, Georgia to Pittsburgh to Lancaster to Milwaukee to Las Vegas to Colorado Springs to Boulder, and then on to Long Beach. I even think we got a channel launching soon in Washington, D.C. as well, too. So if you're listening on any of our networks across there, do me a favor. Say, hey, take advantage of this opportunity. Going to be great content, great information. You're going to get the replays. If you're signed up for it, we include that there. And then we'll also have some special bonuses as well for you. Anybody that else is interested. So pretty stoked. Note Camp Commercial. One of the things we will be doing over the next few weeks as well, we'll try to get a bunch of those people that have RSVP'd to interview them, bring them on individual podcast episodes here as well. And you'll hear from the horse's mouth directly on some of their expertise, what they'll be focused on, and some of the nuggets that they're going to drop to each and everybody out there, to our Note Nation family out there. So extremely, extremely excited. My big goal too as well is to get some different commercial lists so that our private group turns into kind of its own mini note mastermind when it comes to commercial note space. So if you've already signed up, great. Look for an invite to our private Facebook group and give you a chance to start networking with other potential commercial note investors out there, people that are already doing that as well. Because we've all got to get started in one place or another. Might as well get started now so you can learn it. So when everything does take a dump and some of the different things are coming up, you've got an opportunity to really dive into some stuff. Like like the list I got the other day, there was assets that were just 30 days delayed or in default, all the way up to stuff that was like 2 years plus delayed. I'm like, what the heck? Why has the bank not done anything with these things? Oh, they'd rather sell the note than do the foreclosure. True story. They would rather sell the paper than sell the asset. So pretty stoked about that. We may even, if we've got time, we may even do a whole kind of quiet, secluded thing with a banker. Maybe they won't disclose which bank they work with, but do a Q&A type of thing with them so that people can ask all sorts of crazy questions or questions about buying distressed debt, buying distressed mortgages on the commercial side of things, timing, due diligence, what's going on with their institution, and go from there. So I've got the feelers out to some guys that we've bought from, or we're still on their lists on a pretty regular basis. And I think that would be fun. Simply something where they're anonymous, but can answer questions freely for you. I think that'd be kind of cool. Ask the banker on some of the different things that they're able to do to talk about and go from there. So I'm trying to think what else on here. I am excited though. Our Note Mastermind student, rockstar Lisa Benang, though, actually took action and actually made a bid already on a commercial asset from the other night. So I'm not going to explain what it was, but we're pretty stoked about this one. I don't know if she's going to get the accepted offer on it, but hey, she's got an offering in, getting the ball rolling. So kudos to Lisa Benang, doing some great stuff out there. Proud of you. It all starts with making offers. When it comes down to it. One of the things also too that we're probably going to talk a little about is commercial short sales and what kind of goes along with that. Do you have cash for keys? What are the exit strategies? We're going to talk a lot about loss mitigation and servicing on that side. Should you, what's the thing to look at when you're doing that? What are all the different strategies? You got a little bit different bankruptcy laws when it comes to commercial assets as well. It looks like Laura Blanc said something. Hey, Laura, have the banker behind the screen like Deep Throat. Yeah, that's exactly right. You do not see the man, all total behind the screen. Exactly. That's exactly the idea, Laura. Why not? Why stinking not? Why wouldn't you not do that? And I would love to. God, I wonder if they're still available. I got a couple asset managers that I know they've moved on, but I think it would be great to reach out to. I'll reach out to them and say, hey, I've got an opportunity here if you're interested. So pretty stoked about that. I mean, commercial, we're all seeing different commercials. It's a totally different creative aspect of things. We have bought and sold different apartment complexes. We have bought beer barns on a commercial note, strip mall, what else? Mixed use. We bought and sold a 10-unit apartment complex above an 8-unit office space, medical office buildings. What else? There has been so much. I gotta go back to my notes and look at some stuff like that. I've got friends that are buying distressed notes on golf courses. David Buttress is going to talk about that. He bought a distressed debt on a golf course outside of Austin, Texas. He bought an office building. That's one of the big things I think about. We brokered a 12 or 15 story building here in Austin, Texas a while back. Yeah, it was a pretty good chunk of change. I split it with a few people, but still nice chunk of change when it comes to it. Just there's a lot of great things that you will see that can make things happen. Just get a little bit creative outside the box. You never know what's going to happen. I'm going to reach out. I've got my buddy Chris McClatchy can talk about. He's bought some commercial assets by getting the sellers to offer up 0% financing. So we're going to work through some of those case studies as well. He's agreed to be on and just jacked up on some of the great stuff. So yes, you can hear the excitement in my voice, but I want this to, it's not about me. It's about what you guys are looking for. It's what our Note Nation is, what our sign up. So those that are getting sign up, we'll be sending a survey out like we have done before. What's their strengths, what their weaknesses, what are they looking for? What kind of assets? What are they looking for? What parts of the country are they looking for assets in? And with commercial property managers, like our friend Sari will talk about, she's got investors, property owners that are all across the country that she works with, and it's a whole different ballgame. I've seen what she has to do with some of the property management and some of the assets here in Austin that she manages in other places of the country. So pretty excited about that. We'll talk to a couple commercial realtors. We'll talk to title reps, like I mentioned before. Just some great things out there. So love to hear what you guys are interested in, any particular asset class. Yes, we'll talk about multifamily. Like I said, we got the big kahuna, Corey Peterson. I got Jason Bible going to talk about some smaller unit stuff. We got Dan Hanford going to talk about some of the due diligence on some of the apartment stuff that he's doing. We're going to rock and roll this. You should know me. We're going to come with two guns a-blazing. Boom. To really deliver great content out there. So once again, if you're interested, notecampcommercial.com. It's all spelled out, no dots, nothing. Notecampcommercial.com. That's the website. Or you can go to notecamp.live as well. Should forward you over to the website for the checkout there. And like I said, the website, official website, will be up before the end of the week to help you guys kind of see some of the different amazing speakers that we've got on the hook to come speak for 3 days. Some of them, like I said, are joining us from different areas. I mean, we've got people from the East Coast and the West Coast joining us. We've got people from Chicago, people from here in Texas, really trying to hit all four corners of the United States here for the most part to get into the commercial space. We got a couple commercial realtors that are going to be on talking about some of the things that they're looking as they're brokering or dealing with banks. I got one commercial agent that we're working back and forth on a couple deals with. She's going to talk about what's going on and what people should look at, some things to keep in mind, and just kind of help you build your team, things you should ask, things you should not ask. And, I've also jumped on Scotsman Guide and reached out to some financiers or some institutions that are funding different commercial assets to see if we can't get a couple people on to talk about some of the difference when it comes to commercial underwriting, whether it's, what are the different things that come in mind versus like going and getting a mortgage or getting a traditional lending package. What goes into a commercial package that you want to have to make it attractive to banks. All right. That's one thing. I used to do a lot of commercial lending back when I owned a mortgage company with my buddy Boyd. We're doing a lot of stuff, a lot of smaller commercial stuff, not some bigger stuff, but million plus or less for the most part, especially under $1 million. We did a lot of stuff, mixed use, beer barns, some great stuff out there. We're pretty excited to do and get into. So, but that's the thing. You got to realize there's a lot of different niches inside the commercial space, and a lot of people like to focus on one or two niches, and that's great. Nothing wrong with that at all. But we're really, as you can tell, excited to be doing this and kind of expecting to lead the industry in this kind of event as well too. Oh, I have to say, excited too. We got people are going to the Note Symposium this weekend. I was so honored. Bill Bencaro, on his way to the airport, saw my email and actually reached out to me via email. Said, Scott, when I finished up with this in a couple of weeks, we're glad to help promote your event. And I take that as a sincere honor. Especially he was in Houston. He lives in Kerrville, but it was flying out of Houston to take the time to call me on that. So if you're going to be at the Paper Source Symposium or attending, that's awesome. Great event that Bill McCarra puts on. We've been a big advocate of that for years. Like I said before, there's a lot of events out there. If I was a new note investor, these are the ones that I would look at attending. I would attend Paper Source at least once or twice. I would go to the Note Expo that Eddie Speed puts on once or twice. They're different totally. I think you get more vendors at Note Expo than you do at Paper Source, but Paper Source is getting more great content, especially on the owner finance, junior liens, even some first stuff side of things. They don't focus a lot on non-performing notes because that's just not what Bill's stuff is, but performing definitely. Eddie's is obviously going to have a lot of vendors, and it's going to be a little bit more tailored towards their note school and training, but it's still a great networking event for the most part. And then, honestly, if you have something that hits your coast that's in your backyard, go to it. That could be the Mortgage Bankers Association meeting in your state. If it's there, go to it. If it is the ME or if it is NIS, great, go to it. If it's in your backyard, great. If it's IMN is in your backyard and they've gotten a symposium that you want to go to, great. Just expect it to be a lot of panels and not necessarily a lot of stuff that you're going to dive into being a new investor. And our goal, like I said, Note Camp Commercial, is to really provide a springboard to helping people take their business to the next game. We're not talking to stop doing residential. That's not at all what I'm saying, but helping people take that next step in the commercial space. So like I said before, if you've done commercial deals, if you are in the process of you've closed on some stuff, you've got some stuff that you've taken down with the note space, or bought some commercial stuff, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me an email, scott@weclosenotes.com. We'll see if it's a fit. Because like I said before, we plan on having our Note Camp Pecha Kucha case study thing with a lot of investors who are closing on deals and sharing some things. Okay. So excited about this, guys. Great speakers, great event. You can go to notecampcommercial.com. That's notecampcommercial.com. Once you get signed up for there, you'll see an invite into our private Facebook group. And that's where we're going to live stream the episode. If you can't make it in person, we'll be using Zoom like we have before. So if you have ever been on one of our webinars before, like Note Night America, it's the same thing. Be able to watch, interact, ask questions, network with other people there. We'll live stream it straight to the Facebook page as well, the way Facebook group, so that you'll be able to network and be able to communicate with other people there. And that way you can watch on your phone. You can watch the replays there. The replays will be provided usually a couple days afterwards. We're pretty good, but I got the replays out usually by that following Tuesday or Wednesday. Just depends how dead I am on Monday and how much time we spent on Friday and Saturday night after the sessions to kind of get everything downloaded and ready to roll kind of package for you. But excited about that. We will have the Note Camp Commercial podcast available as well in a couple months afterwards. We'll spend a little bit of time on that. By the way, for those that are interested, we have just uploaded 27, 30 sessions from Note Camp 6 to the Note Camp podcast. So those are in the process of being uploaded and edited onto iTunes, Stitcher, and all of our other podcasting platforms for our Note Camp podcast as well for you. So I have to give a big shout out to Alexandra Hazard and Tom Hazard out there at podetize.com who help produce our podcasts, helping us get that uploaded there in a timely fashion. I know I should have had them uploaded earlier, but I always like to wait a little bit to see how we're going to roll things out with Note Camp 7. I don't want to let too much out of the bag, but with this being a totally different event, let's get it all uploaded, get it all released so you guys can go back and listen to that if you want. And then this is a whole different animal. Like I said, commercial is a whole different space when it comes to being an investor in it. So pretty excited, everybody. Love to hear. Let's see, it looks like Chris Savigny is watching on the Facebook Live. Chris, I'd love to hear any topics on the commercial space that you would like to see covered in Note Camp Commercial. And anybody else out there, I'm open to suggestions. If you've got something or a case study or a topic you'd like to see covered, hey, let us know. Let us know, people. We want to help you more than anything else. We want to provide the content you're looking for. We want to help give you the action items, the checklist, the due diligence sheets. Now, you can't obviously learn everything about commercial assets in a 3-day online convention. We understand that. We get that. But this is a springboard. So if you do find somebody that is providing some content that you want to sign up for, hey, there's some opportunities to take some workshops. Great. But our speakers all will have 75 minutes to speak. 60 minutes got to be directed at content, providing really great nuggets. That can be checklists. It can be due diligence. It's got to be meat and potatoes content. Then they got 15 minutes for questions and answers. And then also if they've got a class or a workshop or training program, we're allowing them to sell. No, this will not be a pitch fest. I can promise you that. Everybody that's speaking is aware of that. But we've got some just great people. And we're kind of limiting the amount of speakers that we have to less than a third offering up some sort of workshop or thing like that. That's going to be, we want it to be content. We want to provide actions. We want to give you some marketing things to show you how to make some profits in commercial paper. All righty, everybody. So like I said, if you want more information, go to notecampcommercial.com to get signed up. There'll be a little bit about what's going on, or just drop me an email at scott@weclosenotes.com. Take advantage of the extra early bird seat. Once we sell out of those extra early birds, we've got to set up. You would love to see 500 plus, but we're basically going to try to limit this thing right at 500. So Once we hit 100 tickets sold, the price goes up. Once we hit 200 tickets sold, the price goes up. And so I wanted to give those an opportunity to get the biggest, steepest discount right now while we're working through the website and working through the Facebook group and some other things for you guys to take advantage of. It's kind of like, I guess you could say, you get a under construction discount. You know, you're going to rent an apartment in college and the property's under construction, so you've got a bigger discount just because you're in board. That's what we're going to do. But you're not going to have to spend thousands of dollars flying. You're not going to have to spend thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars on hotel rooms. You're not going to have to spend 3 days or 4 days away from your family. Maybe some of you do. We've had a couple people that purposely flown across the country, rented a hotel room in a new place just to get away from their family. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but hey, if you want to do that, as long as you got good Wi-Fi, you could be sitting poolside and learning about commercial notes the way we do it. So that's one of the cool things we're pretty stoked about as well for you. Okay. All right. So one of the things that we'll do, some of the case studies, I'll give you guys an example. One of our first deals was actually an 8-unit apartment complex in San Diego. I'll give you some numbers on it. This goes back 2008. So it's over 10 years ago. So the numbers are different. Bought it. The bank's appraisal was $699, right? $700,000. The existing borrower owed $548,000, and the bank was willing to sell it to us at $375. They're willing to sell it just over 50%, of value on the note purchase. Now it was fully occupied. The tenant hadn't made a payment in 6 months. It's not the greatest of assets, but it was in a nice little area in the historic Adams district in San Diego, if you know where that is. So there's a lot of 6 units and 4 units and 8 units, little small apartment complexes in that neck of the woods. And so we're pretty stoked about that. $375. We marketed it out to our list of investors. We had a couple people respond, and our buddy Matt Harper, who was a gym teacher in San Diego, just left that because he was doing a good job investing. Him and 2 of his partners pulled their funds together and purchased this asset from us for $415. So we were able, in less than 30 days, to flip that note for a $35,000 wholesale fee. Now, Matt was pretty stoked about that deal because he lived in San Diego. He knew that area. And he and his partners worked out where they were able to get the borrower kind of pay off the asset, come back to the table with money. It took them a lot longer than 30 days. It took them about, if I remember correctly, about 6 months to do that. They ended up getting a check for $548,000. They almost got a full payoff. $548,000 payoff. They paid, what did I say? $415. That's a pretty good return on investment in 6 months. Okay, it's over $135,000 profit for them that they split 3 ways. Well, that's a pretty good return on investment. Matt did the right thing, if I remember correctly. Took his wife to Hawaii, left the 2 kids at home, but traveled to Hawaii, had a great vacation there, and he was off and running, doing some great things. So Matt is a friend. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I know that he's out doing other things in the commercial space as well. We might have to bring him on. I might have to reach out to Matt, see how he's doing in rockets and rolls and things. I bought a note from Capital One. Actually, that was from Capital One as well. Bought a 4-unit strip mall. Well, we basically got the note under contract. Actually, that was here in Austin, off of Airport Boulevard and I-35. And inside of it, you had a coin-operated laundry. You had a check cashing place. You had a pizza place, a Domino's Pizza. I can't remember what the 4th thing was, but they all had long-term rent. So that's one of the things when you're looking at, especially mixed use and stuff, you want to see how long the tenants are going to be in place for. Are their leases brand new? They've been there a while. When the leases leave, because that's a great way to tell cash flow. If they in a lease for 5 years, you're not going to really be able to go increase rents on them. So you have to look at that stuff. So we were able to negotiate that note at 50 cents on the dollar, and we made a 10%, it's a $65,000 wholesale fee. So we flipped it to somebody else who was willing to buy it. Now the borrower had made a payment. He had other properties that were underwater, so he was literally robbing Peter to pay Paul on that asset. But that was a nice little deal. I only just split that 2 ways, so it was a nice $30,000 payday for me. Pretty sweet on that deal. So I once also negotiated a commercial note deal on it was a beer barn. Basically, it was where was it at? It was in Alabama, if I remember. It was the Coors distributor. They were renting, just a regular metal building from the property owner, but the property owner wasn't paying the mortgage to Capital One. It's another Capital One deal. And so we were able to negotiate buying the note at a discount, and then we went to the actual owner of the distributor, and they bought the building. They bought the note from us, basically, and we walked away with a $40,000 wholesale fee on that one, the commercial side. So that's the nice thing. And some of the commercial deals, the wholesale deals on those are pretty good. But the beautiful thing is that we actually did the work. We did a lot of the due diligence on that. What's that mean? I was pulling rents. I was talking to the bank, getting the servicing statement. What was the deal? Looking at the collateral files, making sure we could look at that stuff, having an attorney look at stuff to add value to our packets. That when we marketed to our investors database, we're interested, it took off. So as I've been saying, I think commercial's been overpriced for the last couple of years, but I really starting to see it come down, except the multifamily side. Everybody I talk to will agree. I think multifamily is the most overpriced asset right now. That doesn't mean there won't be plenty of multifamily assets in 6 to 12 months to buy that are in default once the people that are overpaying for them now realize they can't really squeeze any more blood out of a rock to come back in and try to make profits on it. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there, just like there was over a decade ago. Okay. We bought and we negotiated a 300 unit apartment complex in Indianapolis. This was with it wasn't Doral Bank. It was somebody else. It was another bank. I'm trying to remember exactly who it was. But anyway, we negotiated this as a purchase for $3 million. And then we sold it for $330, and I had to split that three ways. That for $300,000 thing, which is not bad. That was in 2010. Yeah, 2010. But the bank, the beautiful thing about this is when you're, especially in commercial, they give you more time for due diligence. It's not like in the residential side, hey, you got 7 days to close, or you got 10 days to close. No, hey, you got 30, 45, 60, 90 days to close. It's funny, I was dealing with Palmetto Bank out of South Carolina, and we had a student who had taken over a self-storage unit from somebody else, from the actual borrower. And so we reached out to that bank, and since he had a different name that was on the mortgage, we were very surprised to see Palmetto Bank send over a list of their non-performing commercial notes, including that asset, including their self-storage. And he knew it was non-performing. It was only about 60% occupied. It had 5 offices in there that weren't quite up to date. And he was working through that. And he took it over subject to without even putting any money down. So he was getting some cash flow off it. But we were able to negotiate the bank selling the note. This is a great thing. They sold the note at 60 cents of unpaid balance, which we were able to go find an investor to put that money up as the borrower on this property. Not the borrower, sorry, the lender on the property, so that my student, he went from being on subject to now being the owner of the property with a lien against it for what he would, and it made sense for him. It was at a number on that mortgage that allowed him now to cash flow about 20%, whereas he was in the whole 10%. So it was really 10, 12%, if I remember correctly. It just wasn't covering a lot of costs and other things they had. So it was a beautiful deal, allowing him to be able to take that property and turn it from a non-performing to a performing side, because he had the numbers, he had the financials. And the bank didn't recognize, even though he'd filed the a deed, quick claim deed with a transfer of ownership, they didn't kick in the due on sale clause. The insurance still showed them as on there. So that was some of the things that was pretty interesting. You don't really see a bank sending over a list that's going to have your asset on it, where you're the borrower technically on the deal. But sometimes you do. Sometimes you see some of that stuff and you can make some things happen out there. Okay. All right. We've done some other things that we found a kind of a shady deal one time. It was kind of interesting. There was a 72 units converted Best Western hotel in Dallas that they converted it to an apartment complex. It done a really kind of crappy job to it. And then the guy that had bought the property, it was on the hook with Capital. We actually discovered fraud. We helped sort out a fraud case. It was a doctor in San Diego was going on. He wasn't even a doctor. He just said he was a doctor, running around raising capital from people in a Ponzi scheme that was basically backed by this apartment conversion, this condo conversion that he was doing. Hotel to apartment, trying to do it to condo. And it just wouldn't pass because it wasn't individually metered and it just needed a lot of work. It was a rough area. And the guy committed fraud. And we worked with Capital One and actually the district attorney from San Diego on this deal to try to help them figure it out. Because it was funny because we were looking at buying this note and we'd done some due diligence. And I guess he found out from somebody, it wasn't from us, that the note was up for sale. And we were, how did he originally find? He went and committed fraud basically by showing in a fake assignment of mortgage to his entity from Capital One, and he signed our name to it of some sort. And I brought it before the asset manager Capital One, said, hey, this borrower just committed fraud on an asset here in Texas. You should foreclose on this stuff. But here's the district attorney from San Diego. And I'll tell you, it's always a little interesting when you get a phone call. And so he says, I'm the district attorney from San Diego. And I'm like, I didn't kill anybody. What? I mean, like, what's going on? And it was just kind of funny to get on the phone. He couldn't give too much information out until he heard me say, like, oh, are you talking about this Dr. David or something down there in San Diego with some of the fraud that he's committing? And he's like, oh my gosh, okay. He goes, I didn't know which side of the fence you're on his side or off side. And I'm like, that's okay. Because it's always funny when the district attorney calls you, say, can you tell us what you do exactly? I'm like, do you want me to have you talk to my attorney? And go for it. But it was all worked out for the better part of things. We were able to help that guy go to district attorney, be able to file charges and send the guy to prison for doing some shady stuff. But the thing, guys, you'll see some different stuff with commercial assets. You'll see some different stuff with commercial loans. Oftentimes when they fall behind, it's because either the market values have dropped, their vacancy, or they just have piss poor management. And that's the big mistakes I see new commercial investors get into a lot of times. They're trying to manage it themselves. And honestly, you can't do it all. I mean, like a note investor, you can manage 20, 30 assets if you're doing it all yourself. Other than that, you get too strapped with time and reaching out to vendors and following up and things like that. Now, performing notes is a different story, but you really need to bring on staff. You really need to bring on property management. You really got to bring on people that will help support you when you're going to dive into the commercial asset game. So, like I said, guys and gals, lots of great case studies that we'll be talking them through, not just mine, bringing on a lot of other people's as well too, but love to have you be a part of Note Camp Commercial the first one of its like, out of the blocks, July 26th, 27th, 28th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday from 9 to 5 each day. We'll love for you to come join our 20 to 30 plus speakers and just join the Note Nation community on the commercial side. We'd love to help you up your game. So NoteCampCommercial.com. It's NoteCampCommercial.com. Get signed up for the extra early bird seat at 50% off of the $6.99 price. And sign up now while those extra tickets, extra seats are available. Once they're gone, and the price goes up. So have a great day, everybody. Go out, make something happen. We look forward to seeing you at the top, everybody. Bye.